Amateur Hour Sports Podcast is back for another daily episode, and in light of Jayson Tatum's hot streak, very impressive hot streak, and the plethora of hate comments I got and am continuing to get every single day on my previous Jayson Tatum podcast, which was episode 120, I will, for the very first time, revisit a previous podcast and readdress it. I urge everybody to listen to the entirety of this podcast so you don't miss any of the points I make before you start hammering me in the comments. And now for any of you coming here expecting me to retract any point I made and apologize for anything I said or that may have hurt your feelings on Jayson Tatum of the Boston Celtics, you are wrong. I'm here to tell everyone I stand by everything I said. Given the date of that episode being December 19th, 2019, go check out that episode before this one if you have not already. The link will be in the description. Jayson Tatum at the time of that episode was averaging 20 points per game on 18 shots per game while shooting a very below average 40% from the field, and I'm not quite sure what his 3-point percentage was, but it was in the low 30s in terms of his percentage. I meant every single word I said in that episode, and I speak on Deshaun's behalf when I say he meant every single word he said in that episode. However, when new evidence is presented, I am poised to change thoughts based on this evidence surfacing. I said in this video, or in that video podcast, I am not impressed with somebody playing iso ball, hucking up a large volume of shots from mid-range. That is not the dynamic of the current NBA. That is not a player I want on my team. He'll disrupt my offensive sets, take away touches from other guys, and it's very inefficient play. I'm very big on efficiency. If you actually listen to that episode and you actually, listen to the whole thing, you would know that I never said Jayson Tatum was a bad player. I said for his age, he's a great player and he has unbelievable potential. But people calling him a superstar, and then some people even going as far as saying putting him in the MVP conversation, that's a big no for me for a guy shooting well below the NBA average from the field. I said that if Jayson Tatum wants to reach the potential and the heights that he certainly has a capability of reaching, then he has to stop shooting garbage contested mid-range shots and start focusing on getting to the cup, taking it in hard to the rim, and to clean up the 3-point percentage, clean up the 3-point game, and surely he will be able to meet that insane potential he has. And since the start of February, if you look at the shot chart and the shot selection, the positioning on the court when he's shooting, he's done that. And guess what? I'm right. He ditched the inefficient and awful mid-range game, and now look at how much better he is playing. You can see it in the stats. He is very close now to reaching that superstar tag, in my opinion. He's a star for sure, but that superstar tag, that's what he's very close to achieving. Now, I want to stand by my opinion that Jayson Tatum should not have been an all-star because I strongly believe that Jaylen Brown was more deserving at the time than he was, and he was playing better ball than him before the break, and that's changed now. However, if you had the All-Star break right now, yeah, sure, you can. I would put in Jayson Tatum ahead of Jaylen Brown. It's just that had Jayson Tatum started balling like this earlier in the season, we have it differently. It's just that this huge little jump is after the break. Surely he's an all-star at this point, though. And you know what? Right now, he's probably Boston's best player. I was saying before, he's probably the third best player behind Kemba, Jaylen Brown. Right now, Jayson Tatum is the best player on the Boston Celtics. To address the overrated tag, it will remain to a degree. As good as Jayson Tatum is playing, people are saying that he is an MVP candidate this year, which I completely disagree with. I think it was Kendrick Perkins who said, who I very much respect, by the way, Kendrick Perkins. He said that Jayson Tatum went from an all-star to an MVP candidate overnight. It was somebody who said that. It might have been Perk. Maybe this is a stretch. Maybe this stretch only is of an MVP. Just what we've been seeing over the last few games, that is of an MVP caliber player. But the numbers we're seeing from over the course of the entire season are of a star, not of an MVP caliber player like the likes of Giannis, LeBron, Luka Doncic, Damian Lillard, James Harden, just to name a few. He's not on those on that caliber. I don't have him in my top 10, just because he had to make up so much for how poor he was at the start of the season, in my opinion. For now, he remains out of that conversation that people so badly want him to be a part of, but I think when we get to next season, all of a sudden, we will be looking at a guy who will probably be in that conversation, because we are finally starting to see that high level of play from Jayson Tatum held very consistently. That is the key to his success. To end, the points against Jayson Tatum's game in the previous episode are no longer relevant because he has switched up his game style. You look at his shot selection in the month of February compared to the start of the season. He tweaked his game how I said he should, and we are now seeing him flourish, starting to get to that insane potential that he has. I will not be held accountable for describing his game as I was seeing it 2 months ago and as the stats would reveal 2 months ago. There's a ton of comments on that video every single day talking about, how fucking stupid I am, how the video didn't age well, all that crap. It's after the fact that now he's starting to play well, after he changed and tinkered his game, that we're starting to see the differences. And at the time, I was correct in saying his game was inefficient. He wasn't a star because he was taking away touches. He was shooting 40%. That is awful. 40% was awful. Now he's shooting 40% from three. Shooting 46% from the field, and it's probably at about 50 in this 50 plus in this little stretch. That is of a star. Not at the time. People were calling him a star at the time I made that video. Not true. He's not a star at the time. Yes, we are seeing it now. I meant everything I said in that podcast, and I meant everything I just said in this one, as I do with all of my other episodes. Understand Jayson Tatum's stats at the time of the video and what he's doing now are almost of a completely different player. He is no longer the most overrated player in the NBA. I will retract that tag off of him. Who takes that tag? I don't know. Maybe a future episode on that, but no longer the most overrated player in the NBA. Was I wrong to criticize Jayson Tatum at the time? No, was not. It was well warranted. Would I be wrong to not readdress it after new evidence has been presented? Yes, I would, and I was right when I said it then, but it would be wrong not to readdress the points I made. If you want to discuss the matter with me, feel free to do so in the comments or with me on social media. All the links will be in the description of the video, or you can comment on the YouTube video. Keep it civil, and let's just talk about our opinions on the matter at hand. Don't waste my time with personal attacks, because I will continue to sleep just fine at night. Thank you for listening. All the links, like I said, to Amateur Hour Sports are below, and I urge you to do so because I upload an episode every single day. So I will see you tomorrow for the next one.